So hey world, welcome to my channel and welcome to 28 years later, the Bone Temple review. You have 3 seconds to exit this video if you don't want spoilers. I already said this before, but who does a review of a movie with no spoilers? You're supposed to review the movie, so you're gonna talk about it without talking about it? Are you slow? That should be the intro for the reviews that I do. Like, oh, that's nice, that's true. 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm just gonna go straight into it. The movie was not what I expected. It was boring, kinda. Usually when I go to the theater, I always have to go to the bathroom, like in the middle or something. Always have to go. Like, and I always try to hold it in, and I try to find the best part of the movie so I can go, so I cannot miss anything. But then I just always end up going at like the wrong time. But then it's whatever, fuck it, it's fine. But on this one, I was like, was like different. I was like, I want to go to the bathroom, but nothing happened yet. So if I leave and go to the bathroom now, is something gonna happen? Finally? Or nothing's just gonna happen? And then I went and nothing happened. And I was like, okay, thank God I didn't miss anything. But at the same time, I'm like, nothing happened. And you know what the problem was? It was the Jimmys. And I was fucking right about that. I knew that on this movie that they were going to be in, that it was going to be boring because of them. You know that character that opens their mouth and you're like, oh my fucking gosh, shut up. That was Jimmy. He kept saying old Nick and whatever. I did not fucking know what he meant by old Nick until the end of the movie that they said that he meant Lucifer. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? It was so stupid. And the best thing I can compare this movie to is, you know, the early 2000 shows where they did, you know, they had like 22 episodes. And there will always be like filler episodes, you know, like an episode that nothing really happens. But they just did it, you know, just to kind of one more. I don't know, like a side character that doesn't get that much screen time. They get that episode dedicated to them. It's kind of filler because, okay, nothing like really interesting happens. But I guess there's that little bit that carries to the rest of the season. That's what this is. And I just feel like that's so stupid because this is a whole movie, a whole production to just nothing have had happened. Ooh, does that make sense? Nothing have had happened. But it didn't. It just felt like everybody died by the end. Even the doctor. The only new character we have, okay, so from the first movie we got the little kid, we got Spike. And now from this movie we got Kelly. That's what this is. It feels like the whole movie was just for Kelly and Spike the bond, and now we just get that new character. That was the purpose of the whole movie. And don't even get me started on the fucking cure, because on the trailer, I was excited. I was like, oh my God, they're going to talk about the cure. They're going to see what they could do. And at the beginning of the movie, I was like, worried. I was like, where we go from this? Because he was testing on Samson. And I'm like, okay, hopefully they don't make this boring. It was. Because it just felt like, it literally just felt like the whole movie was the Jimmys torturing people, which disgusting. And again, there was no purpose to it. But like, it cut to them torturing people. And then it cut to the doctor going to the field to meet Samson. And then cut to the Jimmys torturing people. And then cut to the doctor going to the field to meet Samson. And then cut to Jimmys torturing people. But then it cuts to the doctor going to the field to meet Samson. And nothing happened. And you know, oh my God, it was even worse because, and then it took so long for him to recognize that it was Spike. And I get that he was wearing the mask, but just that part, it took so long. And then when he did realize, instead of being smart about it, he just wasn't. Oh my God, that pissed me off so fucking much. Because then Jimmy is like, oh, he's not Lucifer. Because otherwise I couldn't do this. And then he just does this and stabs him in the belly. That was so stupid. Not the stabbing, because obviously he had a knife and he stabbed him. But it was just stupid because he threatened your life. And that's why you put this performance on. Because he threatened you. And so then you see that it is Spike. And instead of just like playing along or whatever the fuck. Or like you get away. He literally just said, oh, he's not old Nick because, and literally even the movement was so stupid because you mean to tell me that he could just stab him doing this? And then as a doctor, he doesn't even do anything. He said, oh, yeah. Like Kelly was like, oh, I don't mean to make this any worse, but you're not going to survive this. And he's like, oh, yeah, I know. And I'm like, bitch, what do you mean you know? You got stabbed in the belly. Everybody survives that. What do you mean you're not going to survive? What the fuck? Just try and put pressure on the wound so that no more blood comes out. No, nobody did anything about that. They just made a joke about it because that's what it was. Oh, you're not going to survive this. And that he didn't. So if you're a doctor, you don't have a first aid kit. You couldn't put a bandage to put pressure on the wound. You had all this fire around you. You couldn't have burned the wound so like the blood stops leaking. Like to cauterize the wound. Is that what we call it? Cauterize when you like burn it? How many movies have done that? And then you're just gonna say, so many options you could do, and you're just gonna say, oh no, yeah, I don't survive this. Stupid. And then another worst part is that he actually cured him. He actually cured Samson. But then he didn't tell anybody. He didn't even tell Spike. He could have been like, Spike, I found the cure. The cure is Samson. Like, I found the cure. I understand that he had to mix a lot of the medicines, but it's like, I found the cure. The cure is Samson. Try and go find the alpha. See how he is. You know what I mean? Like, and then his blood probably has the thing that you need to cure everybody. No. Motherfucker said, bye, Spike. I'm gonna die. Excuse me. How about you tell everybody that you found the cure? And then the movie ends. And then it just cut like to that shot of the field. And I'm like, oh my God, that looks like the shot from the first movie where Jimmy was with Selena. Or was it Celine? I don't remember. Not that it matters because she wasn't even in the movie. Fuck me, I guess. It's always the women that get left out, I swear. But it just cuts to the shot of like the place where supposedly there was. And I'm like, that's familiar. But I was like, is the movie over? Because I didn't understand. Like it just, Kelly and Spike just left the thing. Just left the temple. And then the screen just turned black. And then it cut to the other shot. And I was like, okay, so what do we do now? And then I recognized the place. But I was like, but is the movie over? Or is it gonna be more Spike? Like, what are we doing? And then it just cuts to Jimmy. And I couldn't even be excited because I was frustrated about how boring the movie was. And then the fucking cut was so dry that I was like, oh, bitch, what is this? It was so dry. And then even the scene with Jimmy and his daughter, which, of course, they would make him have a fucking daughter. Like, what? But of course, but then the mother isn't there. Like, you have him and the daughter, but you don't have the mother. And then the whole conversation that they had was because he was teaching her history. There was no any other interesting dialogue that you could have put to that conversation. No, let's make him like, the conversation is gonna be him homeschooling her. That's it. No mention of Celine. Nothing. They didn't talk about anything else. He could have been telling her about his story instead of telling about the other story. He could have been telling her about his story. That could have been the conversation. And then, yeah, they see Spike and Kelly, and then they're like, oh, are we going to help? And then they help. But then the movie ends. So they don't even get to meet in this movie. So it's probably going to be the next one. But like, what was the point of this? You can make a whole fucking movie, release it in theaters. What a privilege that is. And you have the nerve to make a filler movie. A filler movie. Because that's what this was. This was a filler movie. Nothing really happens. And you can say, oh, they found the cure. Did it really? Because now nobody knows that it exists. I guess Samson does, but what the fuck is he gonna do? Don't tell me that the next movie is gonna be Samson and it's gonna be like, oh, I was infected, but now I'm cured. And now I know how to do the cure because Kelson told me to. But if there is a third movie, I don't think it's confirmed yet. But if there is a third one, I'm just going to assume. I don't even want to get my hopes up, but I'm just going to assume it's going to be better. But I don't want to get my hopes up at the same time. But the 28 years later was so good. So it's so frustrating to go see this one. And this is what it is. Like, excuse me. But anyhow, girl, I guess. This movie could have been an email. You could have been like, oh, there's a new character called Kelly. She was from the group of the Jimmies. And her and Spike bonded and they left the group. That's it. That's it. Like, that's it. Kelson is not even gonna get to meet Jimmy. I guess Jimmy's gonna meet Spike and Kelly. Where's Spike's father? Where is he? Didn't he go after Spike after the first movie? Like, where is he being? He could have shown up. He could have helped the Jimmys. No. Why do we need him? Honestly, I would rather him. He should have come to help with the Jimmys. He would have died, and Kelsey would have been fine. Kelsey, whatever the fuck his name was, and Kelson would have been fine, and they could have killed the father. Yeah, what about his community? Are we gonna go back to that community in the next movie? But Jimmy probably doesn't want to leave there. And you mean to tell me that Jimmy was there on that place for like 28 years, doing nothing else for 28 years? He didn't do anything else but fucking and did a kid. In 28 years, he only has one kid and she's still a child? She could have been an adult by now. When did they make the kid? What the hell? And only one kid? You don't have more? But yeah, I want Celine. Again, I don't know. But I loved her. Was there not more people at the end? Didn't the little girl, the one that was so bad at acting, and her father? No, her father died. The taxi, yeah, her father died. But the little girl was fine, I think. I need to go watch the first movie and see who survived. But again, I don't want to get my hopes up because maybe they don't even get nobody else. They're just gonna use Cillian Murphy because he's the more famous one. So they're just gonna use him, and then they just use the little kid because the little kid could be somebody else. They can just cast a new actor, and then they don't need to use nobody else because the next movie is just gonna be Cillian Murphy's in this movie. So now you should go watch this movie because he's in it. Okay. Filler movie. Okay, great. Like, really, the jokes weren't even worth how much screen time Jimmy had. And I mean the blonde Jimmy. The one that was worshiping Satan. Him dancing with Samson. Girl, that was kind of funny. But I was like, what's the purpose of this? But it was kind of funny. But then it just cuts the Jimmy torturing people again. And I'm like... Anywho, it was, yeah. It was a wasted opportunity because what is this? But yeah, anywho. Let me know your thoughts down below. Like and subscribe. And I guess I'll see you on the next video. Bye!